high expectations, narcissists, and of course, no contact rule or use integrity to start making decisions. It's a great email I got from somebody and we're jumping into it. Roll it. Welcome back to another video. My name is Nikos Rentas. This is mentorsapproach.com. If this is your first time here, don't forget to hit a like button if you like what you see. Of course, hit the subscribe button so you start watching all the videos we pump out on a weekly basis so that you can get yourself and your mindset moving in the right direction. This email came from somebody who has been watching my videos, and of course they saw the narcissist video that has taken off, and in that video, I explain to the email response what the situation is and how to go through it. And the general thing of whenever I talk to people about narcissism or dealing with people and in general anything is, where's your integrity at? Where are your values at? What's best? Make the good decisions for yourself based on integrity, not on emotions. In this email, it comes back and it's very good. Let me jump into it. Hi, Nikos. I got into an argument with my girlfriend over one of your videos. Awesome. Arguments just mean that you guys are discussing the topics, which is great because that's what I want. I want people to start thinking for themselves the best things that they can come up with for themselves. What works, what doesn't, where's integrity, where are values. We've got to question these things nonstop. That's how we grow. The narcissist one, which I'll link below, by the way. It involves what you said in one of our friends. We see what you're getting at with your points. Question is, when do you implement no contact rule versus making decisions on integrity? Now, this is a great email because at the end of the day, we are in the new day and age where we're dealing with a lot of narcissistic talk in our relationships. Once somebody starts doing something, you start to question what it is, what's happening. If you don't know much about narcissism, you start researching it, and it's one of the your first things that will pop up now. It's everywhere, and I mean, in this case, I don't have a lot of details with what you are talking about, so I'm going to be very more of like the bird's view on how I'm going to respond. But of course, the idea is very simple. When we see these signs, we go online, we start researching it, we come across different videos, people talking about it. Some are based on experience, some are based on the actual intellect behind it. I advise everybody to go research all kinds of understanding behind this narcissism talk, and also to be aware that narcissism is the first thing that pops up, but there's so many clusters within that narcissistic realm, and we got to really understand that unless you are definitely certain, and unless some person with a medical degree states, hey, this person is a narcissist or this person is a sociopath or whatever, you don't actually, you're making the assumption. The more traits there are there, then the more geared you are to make that claim and treat it accordingly. We have to protect ourselves, and a lot of the things that we see with the narcissist talk applies to the low level and the high level of the people using the techniques that are involved in narcissism. Now again, narcissism is an illness. This is the bottom line, and it's a trait, it's a pattern that we see within narcissistic individuals, and that's why when you have conversations with people, we see the patterns, and then based on the patterns, we're like, here are your options. This is technically what I feel anybody should be, addressing any kind of topic on narcissism. That being said, when we look at the situation of your friend, it could be a male, it could be female, I'm not sure. Now, when does the non-contact rule apply, or the no contact rule apply, versus using integrity and what I preach on making decisions based on integrity and your values? This could be a situation where your friend is, going through the process of being single, meeting a guy, going through everything, or being single, meeting a girl, going through the process of, getting married eventually. Or it could be somebody who is going through a bad breakup, divorce, etc. There's kids and all that. No contact rule really applies when you are dealing with somebody who is in the beginning stages. It's somebody who you can just turn off. It's somebody that You realize the red flags, you're seeing everything that's happening in real time, the patterns are there, you're starting to lose yourself in the process, you're starting to lose a lot of the aspects of family, friends, you're starting to be in that position where your value is decreasing drastically. Maybe you're off that, pedestal and you're going in the decline, and it's going to be a hard drop. And maybe you've already reached that spot and things are going very bad, and the bottom line ends up being, how do you deal with it other than just shutting it down and off you go? You can't argue with this individual, you can't get back on the pedestal, you can't do that. If you've been trying and trying and trying, for anybody watching that, once you're off the pedestal, you ain't going back up there unless the person wants to put you back on. Note that. It's their game. It's not your game. It's their game. Now, you may think you're a player in this game and you're very good at the game, but it's not your game. It's their game, and the rules change in accordance to what they feel like. Especially if they're like a narcissist, and on that scale, they're like the high end. You ain't winning. You ain't winning at all. There's not going to be a win for you. That being said, some people will try to work through it and keep going at it, and some people go into a fear state and they think this is it, this is how I have to deal with it, and I love this person, and etc., etc., etc. But the reality is that narcissism 101 dictates that patterns are there, patterns will repeat themselves, and you're in this cluster of craziness. Now, the other side, when we look at integrity and values, can you implement that in that stage? Well, yeah, you can. You can implement it there, and you can start going with the flow on that. The question is, are you going to be able to handle it through the process? Because the tests have already been done. You've broken on your integrity, and that's why you're in the position you are in. And the reality is that the narcissist isn't going to like it. Once you start saying no, man, I got videos upon videos of and situation upon situations, and of course I got other ones I've watched as I was going through my narcissistic craziness, where I learned a lot of this stuff in that phase. And the reality is that you ain't getting back on the pedestal if you think you're going to do it because you want to get back on the pedestal. They will not allow you to go back there. It's their terms, it's their game, it's their rules. So the reality is, can the integrity stuff happen there? No. Is there a possibility that you can do the no contact, and then when they reapproach you months later, hey, I'm going to use the integrity? Yeah, there is a possibility that will work. But then, how strong are you? And will you be able to continue on that down the road? Because patterns repeat themselves, and of course, this person will re-engage into what they were doing before because they want to bring you back to where you were. This is the simple truth to it. There's no empathy in these individuals. There isn't any empathy. There's no love. They don't see it. They don't understand it. They just know that other people have it and they want it. So they'll never get it. Now, that being said, going to the other side, if the person is in the relationship for how long, they have kids, businesses together, all this stuff, well, now it's a question of, can you do no contact? Well, clearly no. You got kids involved, you got business involved, you got a whole bunch of other stuff involved. It's not as easy as no contact. And I always hear people scream no contact. Well, it's not that easy. Every case is specific, and this is why getting counseling, getting a coach, getting a whole bunch of support behind you will help you in that journey, because the reality is that they're there with you for life if you're stuck in a situation with kids. How does that all turn out? Well, you have to step back from it all. You have to give a lot in that process, but once you step back, now you have to start focusing on integrity. You start focusing on your values, and you start working towards that environment you want to be in your own regard. Like, that's the bottom line. Then you're able to start structuring it in a way where you will have a successful relationship outside of the narcissist realm, that environment. And yeah, I get into it about the kids in the video you watched, and the reality is that the kids need to see a happy relationship. The kids need to see the parent that is not the narcissist in a relationship of normality, to see what it's like to leave the chaos that they're experiencing at home and to jump over into reality of what it's like to be normal, to have normality, to have happiness around them, to see joy. And that's the bottom line. And that's that example I bring up there, and I know I've had many conversations with people about this, but my wife or my husband, they're narcissists, they're going to destroy my kids. Well, they're using your kids to get what they need, which is fuel, supply. They just need that fight. They need all these things to occur in order to be in power and be in control. Long story short, integrity has to play a key role in that, and things like getting angry because they're denying you to see your kids. Don't get angry. Contact the lawyer. Go through the procedure. It's all about integrity. More money's being wasted. The kids are going through this situation. No matter how bad it is or how good it is, go through the normal procedure. This is the simple truth of it. The reality is that you will win more battles going through the process of, hey, I'm going to be in check. I'm not going to get emotional. I'm not going to get angry. I'm not going to go through that. What are my values? Where's my integrity? How do I proceed? Okay, this is the bottom line. Anything you do that could be an attempt to make you look bad, they will take it. So this is why we focus on integrity. A lot of the times guys will call me, mothers and fathers, let's put it this way, will call me about their kids, and they're like, well, I blew up on the phone. And I'm like, all right, send me a snapshot of your messages. And they sent me the snapshot, and it's like, boom. Just blows my mind of the words they use, and long and behold, they go back to their lawyer, and the lawyer's like, well, you're being abusive here. That's how the courts are going to see it. So there's no way I can help you get more time with your kids. This is the mentality of why integrity plays such a big role in what we're trying to achieve. Also, please note that if your kid is 3 or 5 years old, or if your kid is 10, the years will go by fast. And as those years go by, please note that the narcissist will need their source of fuel. So where you are the primary one, well, you're gonna start turning into the secondary source, and you're not gonna be getting the attention on you all the time, and things will start to change, especially when they find somebody and all of a sudden they don't want their kids anymore to be with them as much because they need to work on the other source. It happens. I deal with people all the time who talk to me about it, and they're like, I wish I had more patience. I wish I've heard the stories, you told me about it too, and I wish I had patience. This would have went a lot smoother, a lot quicker. Our emotional stability plays the biggest role in these kind of situations, and this is where when you sit down with your friend, you need to really ask the important questions to go through it. HD Tutor, I'll put his link below, on narcissism, and he does a great job on storytelling with narcissism. He really puts out a lot of vivid images of what the types of narcissists are, who they are, how they work, and really paints a great picture of how it all works together. There's a whole bunch of people on YouTube that are doing a great job. It's phenomenal. And I mean, I'll list a few below. They are doing a great job in assisting people get through narcissism. My goal with what I do, and the reason I post these videos, is because when you use integrity and you start using integrity, the reality is that narcissists will not approach your realm and stay for a long period of time, okay? let me correct that. They will approach you around, but they'll hover around you, and they'll see that you're not the person that they are going to get the most or the maximum benefit out of that relationship. They won't be able to do all the things they want to do in the process they're generally doing it in. And if you have integrity, you're sticking to it, well, they're not going to stick around, because this is the reality of it. The challenge will be too high, and then they'll back off. This is why a lot of people who deal with narcissism, they're empaths. They feel a lot, and they become the doormat of the relationship, and they are walked all over. You'll hear that all the time. You know, when the Hoover comes in, they respond. You know, this is the reality of it. And yeah, you could have thoughts about responding and how you're going to respond, but the reality is, if you're centered and you're all in for you, it's that you know your self-worth. Integrity is making your decisions, the values you have, and life starts moving in the right direction. Take some time and really think about this. I'd love to hear your comments below on what your thoughts are on all this and how it all relates. If you have good stories that could help people on your experience with narcissism, leave a comment below. And I mean, I know that when people read comments on narcissistic stories, those are critical to people's development on getting through whatever they're going through. It's seeing somebody else's story really changes the perception they have, that narrative they have of the situation they're in, and it helps them move in the right direction.